Okay, so we're in on Mishnah Yud Tes and Perek Revi'im. That's on the left-hand page, in the middle of the left-hand. Your edition is different. Your edition is Yud Tes Shmuel Katan. Yeah. Amram, you like to be reading?
Shmuel Katan on there. V'napol oivecha al tismach. Shmuel Katan said, when your how do you call it? When your enemies fall, don't be happy. Kashlu al yigal libecha. What's kashlu?
When they stumble.
They stumble. Al yigal, don't
Don't let your heart rejoice.
Pen yirah Hashem. V'rabenav, let Hashem see it and put bad in his eyes. V'shiv ma'alav upon, he will return it to you.
Right.
Elisha ben...
But that's enough to know. That's enough to know. So...
Which chapter are we, Rabbi? I'm sorry.
We're in the fourth
Chapter 4, okay, thank you.
And the 19th, Yud Tes.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
We don't, over here, the question, we don't say, what is Baba enough?
Right, what's right now? That's one question. Right now. And now, first of all, this is a exact quote from Mishlei. Look in Mishlei, Kaf Talid, I think it's the Yud Zayin. It's an exact quote. I mean, all Shmuel Katan is doing is quoting a pasuk in Mishlei. So, that's an easy way to get into Pirkei Avos, right? I'll give you any verse in Tanakh, and you would clap and read it, and got yourself in Pirkei Avos, right? But so it doesn't seem to be much of a reason for the Rishnayos to include the statement of Shmuel Katan. If everyone knows it's something in Mishlei. So if you look,
Sorry.
So if you look in, okay, I think we don't. It's not explained here, on the portion here, but it's mentioned in the other Meforshim that he would be saying this constantly. This is something he did constantly. It wasn't something that he just got up and one day started quoting he would quote from Mishnah, from Shlomo Melech. Right? It's something he would go around and constantly mention. That's number one. So if he felt this was important to mention, obviously there is circumstances and why he, of all things to mention, why would you mention this at all? There are many things in Mishnah which are, all of them are relevant to certain times and specific situations, and in general situations as well. So I this more than anything else. That's one thing that we'll try and develop. And
Is this pair talking about Avad, Sino, and Ayvim and Chaverim? Is that
not necessarily. This parak, I'm not sure we can really categorize all the prakim into specific issues they're discussing. Some yes more than others. Let's talk. It's talking about many things. I mean, a lot of it always has to do with your interaction with your fellows, right? So here also. So take a look. Let's begin with Rashi. You have there Rashi. Bakotins. What is he? Why is it called Shmuel HaKodesh?
Is that a complimentary statement?
Yeah, we'll see why.
Little Shmuel?
Yeah.
It could, at first appearance, it may be calling based on his stature, physical, or his spiritual stature. It may not be such a compliment. You're a shrimp, That's not a compliment.
Good, okay. Take a look what Rashi says over there. Katan Shmuel Haramasi. He was small from that of Shmuel Haramasi. That's Shmuel Navi, right?
What? Shmuel HaKatan was Shmuel Navi?
No. Take a look at Rashi. You have Rashi there?
Yeah.
That's
What?
my first thought.
That what?
He's not Shmuel Hanavi. That's why he's Shmuel HaKatan.
Oh,
Because Shmuel Hanavi is Shmuel.
Navi, right?
So he's the next Shmuel.
Right. If we would just call him Shmuel, right?
You might think.
Right.
So he's number 2. So the little Shmuel I don't think is such a bad thing.
Right.
You're number 2.
Right.
Number 2's not so bad.
So, first of all, you should realize if he's mentioned Avos, that means he's a Tana. Okay, we have Rav and Shmuel, the Amoraim, that was generations later. So Shmuel there is not referred to as, he's just mentioned as Shmuel, right? So, evidently, this Shmuel was the one who bore the name Shmuel, and he was the next after Shmuel Hanavi in stature amongst all the Jews that had so much stature that he would now take on a Shmuel HaKatan, meaning he was
But there was
similar.
no Nebuah.
No, but
greatness. I'm saying
in
greatness.
in the stature, in the relevance of his door,
Right.
he was perhaps like Shmuel. He was like Shmuel in his door in certain aspects, right? So therefore, he was given the name, according to Rashi, right? He was given the name Shmuel Navi, Shmuel HaKatan. Excuse me, Shmuel HaKatan. That you should know he's a little bit like Shmuel the Amorasi. As it says, continue to look at the Rashi there. Finish the Rashi there, right? You have it there in Rashi? Amram, you want to read that?
No, that's beyond me.
Oh, it's too small. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, fine. Okay, so it says like this. Yutes had cotton mishmul. He was cotton mishmul Haramasi. He was smaller from Shmuel Nasi. Kamosha Mitzinu Shiyapsabas Ko. Right? Va'amr, the Bas Kol came out about Shmuel Cotton. Va'amr, it said, Sha'asha Roy Tishra Halav Shkina Kemoshe Rabbeinu. It says about Shmuel HaKatan, a Bas Kol, a voice from heaven came out and proclaimed that he was fit, that the Shekhinah should come upon him just as it did upon Moshe Rabbeinu. That's pretty very good what we call haskama.
Yeah, Shmuel, is he quoted that often?
Yeah.
He's a popular.
Again, the Tanoim didn't have to say too much. They said very few things. And what did he leave? What did he bequeath to Klal Yisrael? Right? This statement. He reiterated what Moshe Rabbeinu, what Shlomo Melech said in Mishnah.
Must have been a friendly person.
They say he was a chaver of Rabbi Akiva. He was a friend of Rabbi Akiva.
Shmuel HaKatan?
Yeah. He was a friend of Rabbi Akiva. Okay. So now take a look further in the Rashi, right? You have okay. Rabban, what's the this?
Sorry, which one?
Nipol or you
Sure.
Now, Ragla, the former, the high court. Well, that's interesting. This is Aramaic? Well, Hebrew. It's Greek to me, but.
Yeah, I'll tell you it's a little bit Aramaic. Hachi Haba Morgala de Pume. I crow. It's a Murgala Pume. It was habitually in his mouth. Literally, Morgala de Pume was literally habitually in his mouth. I mean, he was constantly saying it. Yeah? So he was constantly saying this pasuk, right? This pasuk he was constantly saying. Right? And now we continue.
והישב עולבך,
Yeah.
שיושב ממנו ויבוא עולך, אחי ארסינו.
Haron Ach, lo nemar. Didn't say charon ap, didn't say a fierce anger.
Ella apo malamed we're forgiving all his avonas.
Avonos, right. So I look back at the
How does
puzzle.
that fit in?
Okay, very good. That's what's the part of what we're going to try to understand here today. So again, Shmuel Katan Oimer, in oil oyevecha al tisma, don't rejoice in your enemy's downfall, right? And in his stumbling, right, don't have your heart rejoice. Pen yir Hashem, lest Hashem see, the raw be'enav, it will be evil in Hashem's eyes. V'hashem be'alav apo, and it will turn itself back upon you. And then Rashi says, what's going to turn? What's going to happen? That the person who you are rejoicing in his downfall, Hashem will see what you're doing, and it is going to be in the other person a forgiveness for all of his sins.
Because of your action, you're creating forgiveness
Right.
of the person who has Avos, because you're rejoicing that he was defeated.
Right.
That's a very interesting situation.
You have that in Chumash with Avram and Sarah.
No.
Sarah says God will judge between you and me when she was having the fight. And what happened? She died young because God said I have to judge, then you get judged first. Sarah got judged first and she died first.
Yeah, in a very similar case, true.
And it was the same thing. You can rejoice your enemies. God judges you and oversees the other person.
That's a good example.
We rejoicing enemies is because Hashem created enemies too.
So,
And why they fell down, we maybe did not understand that we're not supposed to judge what Hashem is doing as part of the situation.
okay, one moment. Take a look at the Rambam. Have the Ramban there, and also by your test. Charon apoy lo nemar ela apoy. Right? It didn't say charon apoy. There'd be a fierce anger. Rather, apoy. It would be a turnabout. Malamed, anyone like to read?
אף על פי ששלמה אמר בחוכמתו זוס
הצבא.
אבל זה שהחוכם היה מוכיח בזוס עמידו מזהיר בזוס
So again, so it says, Malamed shemokim lo kol avonosov. So again, the Rambam is repeating what Rashi said. It teaches you that the person who you're rejoicing over in his downfall, he's going to have, because of your joy,
atonement for all sins.
atonement for all sins.
So maybe,
Wow.
so maybe you do get over to the
What a pass.
Okay.
Well, you say, oh, right, great that this guy got defeated.
Yeah, but what happens to you? If you're causing him an atonement, that means you're doing something wrong. So what happens to you? It doesn't say.
No. But does it mean you're doing something wrong? Or Shmuel HaKodesh says, don't do it.
It says that if you speak lashon hara about somebody else, right? The person gets your mitzvahs, right?
Oh, similar case.
Okay. So obviously something happens. If you're causing him to lose all his averos, well, you have to be careful. I mean, it doesn't say, but what happens to you? You have to be careful.
Well, it doesn't say what happens.
It doesn't say it. And so I'm asking the question.
Where do the ones with errors go to? Right. Okay. Also a good point.
May I ask one quick question?
Yeah, sure.
In the Rambam, which word says that is forgiving the sins? I don't see. I see it.
Moichlim, right? Melamed shemoichlim lo kol avonosov. It teaches that he's forgiven all of his sins.
The first line.
Oh, first line. Okay.
What's the difference between Charon Apo and Apo?
Charon Apo would be like an anger. Meaning, again, the pasuk says, right? that the Hashiv Ela Apo, it's going to be turned upon you, right? It's going to be, it's being raw bang up of Hashem. The Hashiv Ela Apo, it's going to come back upon you, right? So, Charon Apo Lo, it didn't say that Hashem's going to be angry at you, right? It didn't say that Hashem's going to be angry at you.
What do we turn the anger?
Mm-hmm.
How do you define that? The anger is of Hashem will be turned on you.
Well, that's what you might think that's what's going to happen, but he's telling you not. It's not that Hashem's going to be angry at you, right? Rather, what's going to happen is that it's going to come back. What's happening is going to come back on you, meaning you were happy at his downfall, right? So he's going to have now a chance to be happy at the first person's downfall. And how's that happen? It's happening through a process of he's being forgiven all of his sins, right? And somehow it's going to come back on the person that was.
The sins have been transferred.
That doesn't say. It doesn't say. That doesn't say about transit. It says that that person's going to be forgiven. You're happy. He fell. He stumbled, and you're happy about it, right? So he's going to have a mechila for his sins. That's what it says. More than it says. I don't want to extrapolate. Right, and you can see as we get further on into the other Meforshim exactly what might be taking place here, right? But it doesn't say that there's going to be an exchange. Right? Sometimes you see, as we mentioned, I'm going to mention the Yelchin Har, sometimes there's an exchange, right? In this case, he doesn't mention anything about an exchange. No. Oh.
So he's admonishing us from being happy when the oil falls, because he will be already of his sins, and that, as of now, that's not the right thing to do.
Right. Oh, so the question
We're not
is,
sure if it'll come back on you.
right? So the question is, why shouldn't you do it? Why shouldn't you do it?
That's the Torah way of things. I mean, you see that with loading and unloading the animal, right? If you have two people, you have to load or unload. You have your enemy over here and your best friend across the street, and you see your enemy, you have to go to help your enemy, because you always have to go help your enemy. So that's our way of life, right? You put that in the New York Times, I think you're stupid, right? Put in the New York Times, my friend has a flat tire, and my enemy, who I can't stand down the block, has a flat tire, who do I help? So without a question, the Times is going to say, your friend. So you tell them Torah says your enemy, they're going to have 25 pages editorial on how the Torah is wrong, right? So the same thing here. So it says, it's your enemy, don't rejoice on your enemy, because you're not supposed to do those things.
Well, I stopped reading the New York Times 25 years ago.
I mean,
It was an anti-Semitic paper.
It is an
I read the
anti-Semitic
Wall Street Journal, which
You
is
know
not
why?
that good.
You know why it's anti-Semitic? Because the family intermarried.
The Schlesinger
I read the
family.
history of the family.
The Schlesinger family.
Intermarried.
They are a simple,
They're considered themselves Jewish.
self-hating Jews.
That's right. They're not Jews. They're intermarried. They're not Jews anymore. The people who own it today are not Jewish even. They're married a Christian and a Christian and a Christian. The founder was, but down the generations now, there's nothing Jewish in there.
So what does that teach us?
It's too bad for them.
Stay away from these topics. They'll get you into trouble. It's simple,
Yeah.
simple.
Don't get me into trouble. That's what I
Okay, let's go to Rabbeinu Yonah. I think you have it. I'm sorry for the small print.
Yeah.
If anyone wants a larger print, there's a bigger copy down here.
Do you want it?
No, you go ahead.
Do you want the bigger copy though?
You go ahead. I can follow. You just can't read.
Maybe Baruch has a copy?
No, we get borrow.
No, he's just got
He doesn't have anything.
he's got parak 24 from chapter 4.
Right.
Just so he knew what we were talking about.
Give a copy.
There's
Give
no
It'll be in a bonus order right over here. The first one in the next shelf. That should be in the back. One up by the First, I mean, now that you mentioned it more and talking about unloading and unloading, we have to try to decide what kind of an enemy are we talking about over here. Right?
Are there different degrees of enemy?
Yes.
Yes. First there's a Sainei, and that's one type of a person, and there's an Oyev, there's another type of a person.
And right here. We'll hold them down here somewhere. I think we're on the message.
There's a,
Yeah, good luck with that.
Where we holding everybody on?
Everybody,
I'll just,
You didn't know it was in Chinese,
I can
did
read
you?
it if you want.
yeah, sure. Okay, that's-
Shmuel Katan?
Yeah.
Shmuel Katan Omer, in full Oidecha al Tismach,
You tell me.
Kishalo al Galibecha,
Like
Uma
wallpaper to me.
Hashmi Enu,
Hollywood.
Shmuel Katan Bazeh. And what does it cause us to hear, right?
Well, he's going to teach. To teach, like, that's usually, like, what he's going to teach. Literally means to hear, but it means like teaching. What is he coming to teach?
With this, the Halal Pasuk Shalem who the Shalma
Who pasuk Shalem? Who? The
right.
Shlomo Omru.
Oh, Shlomo, okay, excuse me.
And this is what he mentioned at the very beginning.
Right.
Where Rabbi Yonah is starting off right away. He's saying, what is Shmuel Katan coming to teach us?
Right, it's just the whole pasuk.
It's a pasuk Shalom.
Right.
It's explicit pasuk, and Shlomo Melech said this before. Right? So what's he simply repeating a pasuk from Shlomo Melech? Ela Rasul, who must have this.
Yeah, there was someone there. Shahaya Ragil Shmuel Lomar Pasuk Zeh Mipnei Shehu Davar
You know,
Hatzarich.
or Davar Hutzrit. Davar Hutzrit.
That's an
Davar
essential.
necessity. It's an essential, something essentially. Okay, right? It says he was constantly. Ragul Shmuel Omer pasuk zeh. Shmuel was constantly saying this because it was a davar hutzrit. It was something that was necessary, right?
Essential pasuk. The Bnei Adam Yerushalyim bo, and people are constantly stumbling with this matter. Kigam biyot ha'oyev rasha ein les smoach. Also, in this or in being.
When it is, like he goes, but it is.
When it is that an evil enemy. There's no rejoicing the ra'ato. There's no rejoicing in his evil.
Right, like this. That it was a davar tzorach who b'nei adam nikshalim bo. There was something essential to be said, and people were stumbling in this. Why? Right? Because, right, even b'yos oyev rosha ein l'smoch barosai. That even when the oyev, the enemy, is a rasha, he's not simply someone who is an oyev to you, but he's also a rasha, right? He's a person who's an oyev, meaning there's some type of dispute, dislike between the two of you. And not only that, he happens to be a rasha. Sometimes you can have a dispute with a tzaddik, right? You have a dispute with a tzaddik, maybe not be worthwhile, maybe you shouldn't. You should seek shalom about that. But sometimes you can have a fight and be considered maybe that the person who is really a tzaddik is your oyev in a certain, for some reason or other. But in this case, even if it's a case, an extreme case where the oyev is not just your enemy, but is also an evil enemy, right? And you don't rejoice over his the calamity, the misfortune that happened to him. Guilty.
Yotzi mipnei Hashem levado.
It's so no.
It's a nickname.
Well, I said, okay. Guilty mipnei Hashem. You don't rejoice in the downfall of even an oyev rasha, even an evil enemy. Rather, you only rejoices only for a Kadosh Baruch. Right? You rejoice only for a Kadosh Baruch. It's not because of the downfall of the oyev rasha. Let's explain that.
Could this also be read as only Hashem can rejoice?
Not in that. I don't think so. Guilty mipnei Hashem levado. Let's see what it says.
Okay. It's a name?
Yeah.
It's a name of Lamar. Kizeh Tzadik Lo Yismach B'Machelet V'Rashaim Ach U Kavanat Shemchato Mipnei Shemachato.
A couple of more words.
Avos Shemayim.
Yeah. So what is the pasuk telling us? What is Shmuel talking over about and repeating? Right? He's saying things like this. What's on one means to say, he's there at tzaddik, that this, for the tzaddik, lo yismach in the Avos Rishonim, the tzaddik should not rejoice in the downfall of the Rishonim. Only if his intention in having joy is that it's because through the downfall of the Rishonim that's Kavod Shemayim. There's glory, there's honor to HaKodesh Baruch Hu through the downfall of the Rishonim. If he's going to rejoice over the downfall of the Rishonim, he should only rejoice because of the honor that's brought to HaKodesh Baruch Hu through the downfall of the Rishonim.
Hulam mipnei sanaito, not because of his hatred.
Right, he's not rejoicing because of his hatred, meaning the person's not rejoicing because of the hate that he has for the person, right? He's rather rejoicing, right, because of the honor that's brought to HaKodesh Baruch Hu when the Rishoyim, the evil people, when they have downfalls, defeats, there's a Kiddush Shemayim, the Kiddush Hashem that takes place in the world. So his joy is because of that, and not because of his hatred towards the Oyev Soini, even the evil person who's a Russian.
Kafshin.
Kol Shekain, even more so.
Kol Shekain, Misha Ma'asav, someone whose deed, Makal Kalim, Kamohu, is liked like him, or is slighting like him?
No, is corrupt. Mikalku is corrupt.
Corrupt.
Right? Kol Shekain Misha Ma'asav Mikalku Kamohu. Right? That even more so if the person who's having the defeat, the downfall, his actions are mekalke, his actions are corrupt like the other person who's happy. Meaning, let's say you have two people, they happen to be Roshas, right? So one Rosh, meaning we're talking first about a tzaddik shouldn't be happy except if he's joyous over the Kiddush Hashem that's taking place with the downfall of the Rishonim. And certainly Kol Shekain even more so if the two people are Roshas, so one Rosh shouldn't be happy with the downfall of the other Rosh. If a tzaddik shouldn't, then Kol Shekain Rosh shouldn't be happy.
Ve'im yigal libo, and if he rejoices in his heart, be'hakshalo ra'ato rabah, in the enemy's stumbling, ra'ato riba, it's his evil. Ra'ato rabah, he's being evil. That if he's in his heart he's going to rejoice in the stumbling of the enemy, then it's going to be this is something very bad. This is something very bad, very bad, very bad. What's that all about? And why is it that someone who rejoices is like the other one?
Yeah, it's like he's talking about that the one Rosh is happy over the downfall of the other Rosh. So why is he happy? Right? He's like the other guy. Meaning, what does this Rosh have to be happy about? The guy is the same boat as the other guy. This guy, so they're happy about their defeat, and they're no better than the other ones. So what are they happy about?
Right.
It's even worse now.
Yeah.
You have to think. What's his think for a moment. What's the happiness? What's this guy happy about? His enemy has a defeat. His enemy it gets stripped up. What's he happy about? What's causing his joy?
Pain and suffering of the other guy.
He's happy to see the other guy in pain and suffering, right? So is that something to be happy about when you think about it? Okay, let's go further.
I'll call the Ne'amar in Mishlei.
Actually, I'll stop you now. I'll tell you Maisa. This happened in Kelm. This happened in Kelm during the I think the Napoleonic bombardments, and during the war there they were bombarding the city of Kelm, right? So the yeshiva in Kelm, it was on the way it overlooked the town. It's not very big. It wasn't a city. It was a small town, and as the cannonballs were flying in, so one of the local houses got hit, and a fire broke out in the house. Right, so the Rosh Yeshiva there was looking over at the site, seeing the house burning, and he was visually, you could see that he was very happy. He was very happy. And Talmidim were there, very sensitive. There was a very, very strange thing going on here. You know, you're not supposed to be happy about people suffering and all of this, right? And so they asked him, they maybe even quoted him this minor, you know. You shouldn't be happy over your enemy's downfall. And so here this house is going up in flames. What are you happy about? So he said, I'll tell you. Say, this house belongs to Ploni Almon, certain Jew. He used to learn in the yeshiva. And I know he used to learn in yeshiva. And he turned away from everything. He turned away from Yiddishkeit, from Torah, turned away from everything. And for years and years he's been having hatzlacha. He's been doing business, he's been living it up, right? And I always wondered about this guy. What's going to do with this fellow?
He's eating his olam haba now.
He's eating his olam haba, exactly. He's getting his whole reward in olam haba, and he's going to be left with nothing in the next world. So now I see that one of Napoleon's cannonballs impacted on his house and started a fire, and his house is aflames. So I see that HaKodesh Baruch hasn't given up on him. So that's why I'm happy that Hashem didn't give up on this person.
You have to be on a certain level, right?
That's a level.
He was on a level.
I know, I'm just saying, it's not, you know.
Because people don't think that way. I mean,
Why do you say, look, this is an old house, he's getting all the insurance.
Well, I don't know if they had insurance in those days.
So that's another shot which you don't encourage. You lose all your possessions, that's not so bad, you get insurance.
Well, that did the Crystal. You know what happened to Kristallnacht? So that was the night that the Germans of Makshumum let wild the masses on Jewish properties and Jewish bodies, being deaths, and shuls were destroyed, businesses were destroyed, and everything like that. So the next day, the committee behind Kristallnacht came to the Führer of Makshumum, and they said, we got a big problem. We got a big problem. We got to pay all these insurance policies. Right? So he said, no problem. The next day made a decree, all Jewish money was ma'afkir. Ownerless. You don't own anything anymore. So.
Was he an Amaleki?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know.
He was a patriot.
Well, okay, we'll have to stop. We're in the middle here. We'll have to stop. Continue, Mr. Bush, here in a moment.